6 starts now.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you, and thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, all in our Husker red for the big game tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, more details on that coming up. It's good to have you with us. I'm Erin Hartley, joined by the meteorologist, Gerald Lansford. I forgot who you were for a second.
The meteorologist.
He is the meteorologist. All right, let's get to the forecast for today. Talk about some cooler temperatures. Do not forget that jacket.
You know, you're probably going to need it for a lot of the weekend. We're looking at some much more fall-like air that's in place. A lot of people are going to be happy about that. As we're heading out the door, the temperature itself is actually a little bit warmer than what we had yesterday morning, but we've got more of a breeze, so it may not feel that much warmer. The sunshine will help, though. And how about that? It's actually a clear sunshine that we have today versus that kind of murky sun that we had yesterday with the wildfire smoke. So that's something working in our favor. You can thank the front that brought that northwest wind into our area. That's helping to push that smoke out of our area. 54 is the current temperature. Again, it's not going to be real warm out the door, so the jacket is a good idea to have. First alert to grabbing that as you're heading out. And also being ready if you're south of the metro. We've got a couple spotty light showers that are continuing to track their way near Beatrice, toward the Auburn area and into Rockport. So we'll have some of those around the next couple of hours, and then eventually we'll settle those further to the south, and we'll be looking at getting the dry weather that the rest of us have in place through the morning. And this is how it all unfolds. So you can see some of those spotty showers that continue to slowly slip off to the south. Sunshine for the rest of us will continue to pull away those clouds that are out there right now, and we'll be looking at a nice midday as we finally get rid of the showers to the south, and we have the sunshine still in place near the metro. Then we start to bubble up a couple clouds as we get into the afternoon. That'll start to level the temperatures off as we get toward those PM hours. And that means it's not going to be quite as warm if you're going to be heading out and about. We'll keep that breeze in place. We'll have that gusting up around 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour at the strongest until we get toward right about sunset. So high of 66 today. We'll have that breeze through the course of the day. Then the wind backs off. And when you combine dry air that we're going to have, a clear sky, and a lack of wind, that's a recipe to really cool those temps off. And that's why by the end of the game, you're probably going to want the jacket again, as we'll be in the mid 50s for those temps as those games are wrapping up tonight. Now, as we go through the weekend, we're holding on to that fall feel, and it is really going to be a pretty nice September weekend.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to want the details, though, because there are so many festivals going on. Yeah. Of course, we've got the Husker game, the Iowa game. So is the weather going to work out for all of that?
Yeah, it's looking fantastic.
About what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, about the only problem you would run into is if you're going to be one of those really early morning tailgaters, because it's going to be cold as we start off the day. So you see these temperatures, these are the highs. These are the afternoon temps. Both Saturday morning, Sunday morning, we're going to be in the low 40s for the temps. So you'll need to dress warm if you're out and about early for those days. But as we look at the Husker forecast, this is the first game of the year at Memorial Stadium hosting Akron, and that's a night game. So it starts at 6:30. That's important to keep in mind because the kickoff temp is in the upper 60s. Really pleasant at that point. But as the game goes on, you can see the steady cooling that happens. We're down in the 50s as you're getting into the fourth quarter. So that's another situation where you may want the jacket at that point. We've also got the Cyhawk game. I know people have a lot going on in this area, but if you are heading to that one, this one is a daytime game. Starts at 11 and will warm through the 60s through that game. Do keep in mind there's northwest gusts up to 25 miles per hour. So again, might want the jacket. So there's the weekend. You can see the lows that I was talking about in the low 40s. Some of our Iowa towns may even briefly dip into the upper 30s to start off Saturday and Sunday. Nice recovery by the afternoons. We're into the 70s for both of those. And if you're missing summer weather, there's some of that here too. We're pleasing everybody as we're starting off the day. A little more mugginess for next week. We'll keep those 80s all weekend long, or all week long, I should say, next week. So not quite closing the book on that just yet.
Okay.
By me.
Yeah, that's fine with me too. Okay, let's get an update on traffic this morning. How are the roads looking?
Yeah, we had a brief little flare-up of some crashes in Sarpy County. Those one of them has cleared.
Okay.
That one was at 36 Highway 370. We'll take a look at that other one here in just a moment. But I can say the general theme this morning is that you're mostly looking at things moving well. Even some of our common spots where things tend to slow down right about at this point in the morning. We're doing okay on I-80 as you're you're heading toward that construction zone. It's a little slow as you get right near there. That's to be expected, but it's not terrible. Really, our only problem spot is this prior crash, 168th and Giles, and you can see it's still pretty slow in both directions on Giles as you get right near that crash. So watch for that as you're going to be heading out and about. That's your main problem that you have out the door. We zoom things out. Yeah, there is a little slowdown there on westbound I-80. Otherwise, just starting to pick up the traffic. So you're seeing little spots where things just slow down a little bit. You've got Highway 370 right around 72nd or so that is slowing down westbound. A couple other spots that are just picking up the traffic this morning. Keep in mind, if you're on an eastbound road, this is a typical sun glare kind of morning. So if you're heading on Dodge, if you're on I-80, 370, some of those spots where it really starts to back up, based on what I'm seeing with the clearing that's happening, those could be some spots that struggle a little bit as we get later in the commute. So have the sunglasses, be ready for that as you're heading out the door. Otherwise, hopefully we'll have a nice smooth commute and set our way into the week.
Can do.
I know.
All right, Jared.
Thank you. All right, new this morning, authorities need your help in finding a missing person. This is 16-year-old Ian Hadfield. He is 5'9", 140 pounds, with brown curly hair and hazel eyes. If you have seen him or you know anything about where he might be, you're asked to call the number there on your screen.
At least one person's in the hospital after a shooting in North Omaha. It happened near 42nd in Bedford just before 10 last night. Right now, details are limited, but we do know the victim is believed to be in critical condition.
Around the same time of that shooting, police say a man was rushed to the hospital after a reported cutting. At last check, he is in critical condition. Here's a map of where this happened. This is near North 46 and coming about 20 minutes before 10 o'clock last night. Officers at the scene tell our crew they were still searching for that suspect. Members of Nebraska's Judiciary Committee met with the governor's team in a closed-door meeting. This is concerning the planned ICE center in McCook.
Yeah, after the meeting, our Lincoln sister station caught up with Bennington Senator Wendy DeBoer and Bellevue Senator Victor Roundtree. They say officials with the state of Nebraska initiated the discussion about the creation of the so-called Cornhusker Clink after the feds put out a nationwide request for facilities. Senator DeBoer also said there's no official agreement yet over the use of that facility.
We've seen time and time again that Nebraskans help each other, Nebraskans care for each other. I don't think Nebraskans voted for something that would violate due process because they voted for a particular candidate or another candidate.
Well, both senators say there may be lawsuits filed in the future, though it is unclear if they would be filed by the legislature itself or others.
All right, now to the safety desk with Maria Kate. Hydration, an essential part of our overall health and well-being. We probably think of summer when it comes to being dehydrated, but
it's really important to stay hydrated all year long, even when the seasons change. So as we head into the fall, experts say when you get really dehydrated, your blood volume goes down, and that can lead to your heart to have to beat faster to circulate enough oxygen throughout your body. Water helps keep your body to a normal temperature, and it also cushions joints, protects your spinal cord and other sensitive tissues.
When the blood volume is down, you still have the same number of cells in your blood, so the viscosity in the blood will go up, and that can even lead to the blood pressure going up.
So to focus on hydration for the fall, you actually want to pre-hydrate. So start drinking your water at least 3 hours before you'll be out in the sun or up on your feet. And then, of course, drink it throughout the rest of the day, too. Also want to limit that alcohol and caffeine. Of course, that leads to dehydration. Replenish your electrolytes, too, an important thing that I think a lot of people forget.
yeah. All right, Maria Kate, thank you very much. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. A live look at Heartland of America Park on this Friday morning. This weekend, they're going to have the Taco and Tequila Festival there, featuring Lil Jon, Bow Wow. I mean, some really fun artists. So we're hoping the weather will cooperate. I hope you also noticed that it wasn't hazy outside when we took that look out there this morning.
And if you didn't notice it, you can look right behind me, because I want to make sure you got a view of that nice pristine sunshine that we have out there. The smoke is leaving. So great news for anyone who is maybe going to Taco Tequila, the Shadow Ridge Music Festival that's also happening this weekend. There's going to be a lot of people outdoors over the next few days, and that sunshine is exactly what you want to see as we're getting things up and running. Now, I will say it's not going to be the warmest as we're heading through parts of the weekend. 54 right now. We've got a decent northwest breeze that's right about 10-15 miles per hour, some gusts up to 25 miles per hour possible through the day today. But that's the good news right there. The air quality is in the good category, and we're not going to get a reinforcing shot of any kind of smoke. Watch how this plays out as we go through the rest of the day. Just continues to thin through the rest of our Friday, and there's nothing coming in behind it that will impact the air quality. So it looks like we should have air quality staying in good shape all weekend long. Great news for anyone who is going to be out and about. Temperature-wise, it will be a cooler day. We'll peak at about 66 today, and we'll keep that breeze that I mentioned going. We'll bubble up some clouds this afternoon as well. We'll lose those, though, as we head into the evening. We'll cool pretty quickly this evening, too, so keep that in mind if you are going to be outdoors at any of those events, that we will be looking at some rapid cooling. You might want the jacket. It's enough cooling that by the time we start off our Saturday, we're talking about low 40s for temps in some areas. We may even reach the upper 30s in western Iowa in a couple towns. So it will be chilly. If you're going to be out and about early either Saturday morning or Sunday morning, you want to dress warm. But nice recoveries. We'll be at about 70 for our high for our Saturday. Sunday, we're going to be just a couple degrees warmer than that, and it'll be really pleasant outdoors for both of those. Now, if you are heading to any of the college football games, we'll kick off at 68 degrees for the Huskers. Keep in mind that's a night game, so we'll cool as that game goes on. Meanwhile, the opposite for the Cyhawk game, that in Ames, that starts at 11. We'll start at 62 and then warm up into the upper 60s. Keep in mind, though, you'll have a breezy northwest wind. So for either one of those, it's going to be a little unseasonably cool for a September game. You might want to dress a little warmer than you typically would, bring that jacket along. If you're not a fan of that, we do have some more summer-like air that is going to be on the way. So there's what it looks like through the weekend. You can see some of the cooler temperatures, even a little bit more of that taking place in the Great Lakes. But watch what happens as we work our way through next week. Start to get some of those yellows, oranges showing up, and eventually we start getting close to some reds, indicating those warmer temperatures. Now, alongside that, we're going to add in more mugginess. We keep that at bay through the course of the weekend. It's going to be really pleasant dry air that's in place. Notice how that starts to tick upward as we head into next week. We'll be well within the muggy category of the muggy meter all week long next week. So it'll be a different feel that we have to the air. So when we're talking about the weekend, here's what it looks like. Today is the coolest day, mid-60s, breezy. A couple spotty showers south of the metro right now. Those will wrap up over the next few hours. Otherwise dry through the weekend. Note those morning lows in the low 40s. That is going to be a shock to the system, but you can see there by the time we get into next week, we're warming things up a little bit already.
All right, Jared, thank you. A scare for a dump truck driver forcing a brief road closure. The driver was unloading rocks near 33rd and Poppleton when the truck hit a live power line. Well,
as we go through the rest of the week next week, we're going to see those 80s sticking around. So be ready for that to be something that we'll experience. It'll be a more summer-like feel to the air. You'll want to be enjoying that as we go through the rest of that 10-day forecast. And it's a little bit of everyone, everything for everyone there with some fall-like weather and summer-like weather.
60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
You've pleased all of us, I believe.
There you go.
All right. Well, scare for a dump truck driver forcing a brief road closure. The driver was unloading rocks near 33rd and Poppleton when the truck hit a live power line. Thankfully, everybody was okay. Police had to block off the area for safety, and a handful of customers briefly lost power.
Omaha police wrap up a campaign to crack down on impaired driving between August 21st and Labor Day. Police say they issued 270 citations. 91 were for speeding, 68 were for registration and insurance violations, and 9 citations were issued for DUI.
The Nebraska State Patrol taking part in the same campaign. Their program running a little bit longer from August 16th through Labor Day. Troopers wrote more than 1,800 speeding citations across the state. They also stopped 80 drivers for DUI and gave 51 citations for driving with an open container. Red tape continues to hold up the rollout of medical marijuana in the state.
Yeah, but there is another government in the state moving its marijuana laws along in the fast lane. John Cartier is the Attorney General for the Omaha tribe of Nebraska, and he tells us cuts to programs is the last thing they need on the reservation. He says they have a plan to bring economic relief to the Omaha tribe and help promote medicine.
The timing is so perfect for us to be able to provide leadership when people, especially in Nebraska, are just begging for it. They really are pleading for someone to step forward, do what we're doing and get patients access as quick as possible because it has been long overdue.
Cartier says they will have soon rules and regulations for their commission to look over. He thinks they'll start selling medical cannabis next spring. Now to our Big Red Extra coverage this morning. Nebraska football marching into their first home game of the season against Akron.
And best believe that Matt Rule is prepping the team for the Zips' unique offensive scheme. Akron uses a 2-quarterback system with a lot of different options. Matt Rule praising Zips head coach Joe Moorhead's ability to create chaos on both sides, something the Big Red really need to be ready for tomorrow night.
Your ability to play your man even when you think it's a run play, because it might not be a run play. And your ability to defend the reverse and defend the reverse pass and defend the RPO and defend the quarterback run. So it's all the things that bother you in one offense. And then defensively, they've got a great blitz package. So it's all the things that bother you from a defensive standpoint as well.
It's the face-off between the Huskers and the Zips tomorrow at 6:30. Still ahead, an iconic tradition running in the family.
The history that's set to be made this weekend when First Celtic Streaming returns.
Next year will be the 90th anniversary of one of the most famous marching band traditions in all of America, dotting the I.
And you could say one sousaphone player was just born to do it. Wendy Bauer receives first dotted the I in 1992. Her boyfriend Chad dotted the next year. They were sousaphone soulmates, which led to a family, including their daughter Sydney. Sydney is now in her 4th year in the Ohio State Marching Band, and tomorrow she becomes the first ever child of two I-dotters to also dot the I.
It's a tradition, and I'm really excited to continue on this and continue the legacy of my family.
As the annual alumni band game where Script Ohio is performed to all 4 sides of the stadium. Now Script Ohio is where band members will go through a series of moves to spell out the word Ohio on the football field. Sydney will dot one of the 4 I's tomorrow. She'll also dot the I again later on this season. I gotta say, this is actually coming at a good time. Ohio State Marching Band has been on TikTok for me, so I've gotten to see a lot of their run-throughs before they started. It's really amazing.
They're the
how
best
they're
of the best.
It's like actually incredible.
Have you seen the Florida A&M Marching Band?
I guess I gotta do my
The
homework.
Marching 100?
I gotta do my homework.
Yeah, go
now,
Google
sir.
that before you say they're the best of the best. Just saying. But they're good.
It's really, really well done.
I need to check them out.
I love the one, I think they did a Michael Jackson medley, and then they moonwalked as
That was
Michael
really
Jackson
cool.
in the formation. It was so cool.
Check out the Marching 100. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to get ready for our update into today's show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your weekend.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Harley. Let's get right to an update about a crash this morning with Jarrett Lansford.
And it's been impacting traffic in the area of 168th and Giles for a little while now. About an hour and a half we've had this, and still looking at eastbound travel being blocked as you approach this intersection. So that's something you're going to need to work around if you're driving this area. First alert to some delays a little further to the north there too. We typically see Millard travel start to bottle up around this time, and we're seeing that. So you may want to leave a little extra time if you're traveling in that area of the metro. Elsewhere, no big delays. Starting to slow down on Dodge. Watch for maybe a bit of sun glare this morning. And here's why, as we're starting off our day. We have cleared away the smoke that was plaguing us yesterday and giving us that hazy sky. It's a much more crystal clear picture that we have as we get things up and running in the metro. 54 degrees our temperature. We do have a pretty decent northwest breeze, so it's going to feel a little cooler than that temperature may imply. Keep that in mind. A couple spotty showers south of the metro. Those will clear out as we get later in the morning, and we'll be looking at a cooler day. We don't warm quite as much. 66 for our high. We'll keep that breeze going and bubble up a couple clouds as we get into the later part of the day today. We'll lose those as we get into the evening. You're heading to Friday night fever games. You're going to want to bring the jacket along because we'll start cooling quickly on the way to the low 40s to start our Saturday and our Sunday. Luckily, we'll recover nicely by the afternoon to the 70s both days.
Jared, thank you. At least one person is in the hospital after a shooting in North Omaha. This happened near 42nd and Bedford just before 10. Now, right now, details are limited, but we're told the victim is believed to be in critical condition.
Well, it is 7:28, and we are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.